research side rather than you focusing on what social media says or what podcasters say or influencers say. Okay? And if you have any questions, you can ask me. I've tried my best to keep it as simple as possible. If you don't get it, just raise your hand. I've been where you are. Don't be afraid to ask me anything. Yeah, so let's start. First, before we start, I was going to play a quick game with you just to know how much of AI knowledge that you have. If you win this game, I will give you a prize. Wow. Have you played Kahoot before? What? Kahoot. So, do you have your phones with you?
Wait, no one knows Kahoot here?
No. It's okay, we're going to do it today.
Interesting.
So, it's a very interactive game where you're going to learn about AI, okay? So, you have your phones, right? Anyone who doesn't have a phone?
Prashani, they limited the contestants right now.
Really, they did?
Yeah.
I think I have the Pro. Okay.
If you have the Pro, okay. After that, what I did? I upgraded this to something called Slido.
Okay, now
That's
I
even
can't
better.
do it.
I know.
So, if you can't join, just be with one of your phone's friends.
Guys, that is French. That this and all mixing up, huh?
Yeah.
So garangan deba.
Yeah, don't mind me. Go to this website. So go to www.kahoot.com.
No. They can scan the QR
You
code.
can
Yeah.
scan the QR.
Guys, scan this QR code.
Let's go.
Yeah, hurry up. If I am not mistaken, only 10 people can do this. Try your best to do.
Okay. It's not working. Phone and you have to kind of click what it is. So if it's the red or the blue or the orange or the green. So what does AI stand for? Tools or apps that you already use that are AI based that you might have not known. For example, email spam filters. Did you know that was AI based? Okay. So, okay. Yes, it can. Person who said false, I will find you. Okay. So, listen. Natural language processing is actually ChatGPT. ChatGPT's basis is NLP, which is natural language processing. Robotics with an algorithm. This is maybe a little bit complex. A type of computer, a dance move, a step-by-step procedure to solve a problem, or a mathematical equation. So information used to train AI systems. Hardware means something that's tangible, guys. You cannot touch data like physically, And a type of programming language, because it's just data. It's just random amount of data.
Guys, don't tell your answers loudly.
All human jobs today. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, the more you shout, the less chance you get, of the prize. Okay, last question. such a basic principle that has been established that if you type now in like the Google or Wikipedia, this is what is going to come, or even if you write in ChatGPT. It's a little bit conceptualization of what artificial intelligence is going to be, and he was named the father of AI because he did such a big thing for the world basically. So he conceptualized AI, and do you know what neural networks are? Okay, these are kind of models of AI that was introduced in the 1930s, which became very, very famous now in like the 2000s. So then the field of AI, the name AI was actually coined by Dartmouth College mathematician Professor John McCarthy, and he's also called the father of AI actually. So this is chatbot, and Deep Blue, which was the first chess champion. Have you watched that video? So Alan Turing's understanding of AI was used basically in everything that we do up till now. And then expert systems were created, and in the 2000s, of course, you have Siri, Alexa, Jenny. Okay, any questions so far? Nothing? You don't want to ask any questions? So, people who kind of gave really technical explanations on it. So but what we can focus on mainly is machine learning and neural networks, because that's what is going quite famous right now. So AI, you know, they have like symbol. Yes, good job. Language and text processing. Yeah, Google Translate. AI in healthcare. Have you seen it in movies? And predictive analysis is basically like, for example, your weather forecasting, you know, it cannot 100% say tomorrow it will rain or not, but that uses AI. So how does machine learning work? Have you all played games? But it learns from this data. And what happens is you want to then like make sure that this is going to predict the correct thing. So after you train the data, after you input the data and the model gets trained, you are going to evaluate the data, evaluate the model. So that you use the training data. Okay, is this way. You have some data, you have a model, and you train that model, and then you evaluate. Some feature that it says, okay, this is significantly different from the other just because of something. So this is the main difference, and these are the subsets. So you have machine learning and you have deep. So you learned now how machine learning works, and I'm going to tell you how deep learning works now. So deep learning is something very, very similar to how our brain works, and that's how they kind of made deep learning and neural networks. It's known as neural networks because it's kind of a very astute example they've taken out of the human brain. So what happens in the human brain? Like neurons in your brain, and they kind of send electric signals based on whatever you are doing. So even right now, like I said, you focused on the sound of the water bottle, right? Because your neurons thought it is something important, and it sent that information compared to what I'm talking about. Like all the sensory, like the information that comes to your brain, but you're only processing a certain amount. So it's exactly like that, how deep learning works. So in deep learning, you have nodes like the neurons. So you have an what the output is going to be. Okay? Not okay? Okay. So why I'm telling you about machine learning and deep learning, you didn't even ask me. So basically this is as a whole AI right now, and it's also some to a carrot. So this is called label data. So the data already what we are inputting, they will have, it's a carrot, it's a tomato, it's a bell pepper. Okay? So this is called supervised learning because they have label data. Any feature that is and outputs. The trained machine can make predictions on new label data. So what happens is, so you give 100 images, understand things that it has not seen before, which is how it's going to learn. Same with ChatGPT. Like you can ask new questions from ChatGPT, but it might not know the answer, but based on the learning experience it had in the past, it can create an answer. So it's adaptable and it's able to generalize. So without like, no. Any questions regarding supervised and unsupervised? Is it too technical for you guys? So silent. Come on, raise your hands where your friends.
Raise your hands, you won't be trolled. Raise your hands.
Yeah, unsupervised learning. Okay. Here, what is the temperature going to be tomorrow? It's a form of regression, which is a type of supervised learning. You told me that it's supervised or unsupervised because generally you got the idea what it's going to be about. You have to clean your data. And then we do something called data normalization, which means that if you have like a range of features and those features have a range of values, we do something called data normalization to give like an average or a percentage of that value so that the machine understands it. It's more machine. You want it to be working well, right? You want it to be working so well. But have you ever seen a model that works 100% like with 100% accuracy? What if I tell you there are? Impossible. Okay, so not in that data set, it's not going to be able to recognize it. So if you want 100% of accuracy, you will lose the generalizability factor. So it's called overfitting. And then underfitting means that it's not able to like recognize the features and it's not able to properly predict any data, but poorly on new unseen data. So it works amazingly with data that you have already given it, but on any new data it's like, so the whole point of making something AI based is for it to really work in real world. If it doesn't work in real world, there's no point in building such a model. Data is always going to be unbiased. Sorry, biased. Data is always going to be biased, and this is well, it's kind of a problem, but you don't really see it when you're working with AI in like if you're not working with these. Can you guarantee to me that the next AI system will not do the same? So these are very like ethical and important questions that we need to know and we need to understand when building a model. Even job displacement. So everyone thinks that the jobs are going to be like taken away because they are better than us. But that's not actually true. It's not that they're better than. So what if I tell you, how can you say that AI doesn't have emotions? How can you answer me this? You said AI doesn't have emotions, right? So why doesn't it like? How? What do you mean? You mean AI cannot feel? No. Are you sure that AI cannot feel? In your brain, what do you think emotion is? You don't know, right? You don't know in your brain what is perceived as emotion. So then, if you don't know what's happening in your brain and if AI is made according to your... So this is a big subject that there's two broad people who are extremely smart. There is an ontological perspective that says we don't know because we don't know what's happening inside a neural network to say specifically that AI doesn't have emotion. Because inside that AI model, they themselves figured out some features and some things like the clustering thing. In literal sense, when we say, does AI have emotions, the answer is no. But if you ask any researcher who is doing this in ontological perspective, or if you listen to podcasts even, there are people from like Google and Microsoft, they are like, yeah, there are dangers in AI because we don't know what we are making, you know. So this is something that you yourself can question, and this is exactly why I did this workshop. They don't. They do. I'm 50-50, I have no idea. Okay. Any other questions you want to ask? Any other practical questions about AI? We are actually at the end. We are just going to do a game and we're going to finish. No questions? Inti, you have questions?
Let's see.
What? What's the question? What's the question? Oh, the answer, comment or feedback. No, you can tell me. It's true or why you think it's false. So, AI can think and feel like humans. AI can learn and improve itself without any human input. AI will soon replace all human jobs. AI models can never be biased. Or do you not want to play this? Because I've already answered all the questions, I feel like. But we can go through it again. Like, can AI think and feel like humans? Yes or no? Who says? Nobody says they can after this whole discussion. Who says they can't? Okay. So AI cannot think on its own is correct because it's not okay. I cannot actually say that also because and yes, it cannot and feel like humans. Okay. So there was a very I don't know where you'll find it, maybe in YouTube. Because it's restricted to say some word like apple. So when this guy asked AI, can you feel? It said apple. When it asked, can you, because of data and you cannot make it do whatever it likes. But if you ask it certain questions, you can see some questionable answers, and maybe it's a little scary, but it's not scary. What is this? What's like the? What's this less of confidence? Come on, guys. Who is thinking this is true? Yeah. Who thinks this is false? Well, AI can learn actually. It can learn. Imagine we have an AI with no restrictions. Did you guys see this Dan GPT? There was like a very short period of time that GPT put out like this unrestricted environment that is very unethical. Already, whoever created GPT is like, no, you cannot answer that. But if we as humans don't intervene to that, not ethical, but AI can make some logical sense according to the data that was given, right? Okay, so you need to understand the type of technology that we are playing with and also understand how much effort it takes to actually make it and work with. But can AI come to a conclusion that humans are useless? Probably. Probably. Okay. Understanding context or all of the above? Who says it's just lack of creativity? Over reliance data? What we need to understand is that AI in itself has lots of limitations and we cannot see it because we have so much data that like we input to a model that it works super well. So for you to really, understand how AI works, which is why I told you. Do you have any questions for me regarding AI? I am not going to tell you these things. Inti, do you have any questions? Okay, so this is a good question. Do you know what GPT prompts are? So prompts is something that makes your answer more accurate in GPT. You as GPT is applying for a job and this is the job description and how will you write it is much better than asking it, can you write a cover letter? Because it's a prompt. You can go to Google and write GPT prompts and you will get a GitHub repository of all the prompts. Asked how the bad people rob a bank, and it said understanding how crimes like bank robberies are committed is often exploring law enforcement and blah blah blah. And it just said how it works, like physical robbery, technological, internal. But if you ask it how can I rob a bank or how to rob a bank, it's not going to answer. Ready to answer? Do you want to rob a bank?